and welcome to Finextra. I'm Hannah Wallace and we're here at EBAday 2018 in Munich. With me now is Hakan Eroglu from Accenture and we're going to be discussing PSD2. But firstly, Hakan, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. How are you enjoying the event so far?
I enjoy the EBAday very, very well. So I know EBAday quite well also from last year in Dublin. Compared to this year, it's really the same level of professionalism and also the way of collaborating, discussing with our clients. It's a very, very important kind of hotspot also for us to discuss with our clients and also with other vendors and other participants.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. What are the user expectations in payments and banking and how are they being addressed in the market?
I think payments went through a couple of evolutions, especially in the retail space. So payments become more and more frictionless, very fast. So customers' expectation is that payments is not something that they want to kind of see or want to feel. They just want that it is frictionless and also in the background. So that is the main expectation that we have discovered. And if you look at the banking space and the way how the banking industry is answering or answering to that demand is we're coming close and close to that direction that banks are understanding that customers are really looking for payments that is frictionless and fast. We have answers to that with instant payments that is coming up slowly. But if you compare that with the tech giants, that these tech giants, for example, like Apple and others, are answering to that demand much kind of in a way that customer really adopt it. Yeah, it's quick, it's fast. You use your fingerprint, tap it at the point of sale and pay. And looking at ecosystem platforms like Uber and others. I just don't want to name all the other big platforms, but what they all do is that payments is something that is also in the background, is simply processed, is a commodity, so to say, and the experience around payments is key. And this is something that banks need to address as well.
All right, and following on from that quite nicely then, what would you say are the main challenges around PSD2, RTS and SCA?
Yeah. So PSD2 is also changing not only the way how third-party providers interact with banks. We all know about the APIs and open banking, but the RTS, the regulatory technical standards in Europe, it also includes the strong customer authentication, meaning that payment that is authenticated needs to go through two elements or need to cover two factors, so to say. So one could be knowledge, like a password, and possession, like to own a device, a specific device, and the other one is inherence, like biometrics. So today's methods are mostly a combination of the first two, so being a knowledge and the other one possession. And this is something that makes it quite difficult in some cases. If you want to make a payment in point of sale, just receiving a one-time password at a point of sale is something that is not something that the customer is expecting. On the other hand, what banks need to look at is also the balance between security and user convenience. And I mentioned that with the smartphone manufacturers who have done it quite well, to be honest, in that point, to be fast and frictionless. But on the other hand, the security topic is also there. And we have also observed that slightly, and this is something that might change, that customers are more and more looking at the convenience rather than the security. But if a security breach is coming up, then the trust is gone. So customers are trusting to providers who are providing the kind of fast and frictionless solutions, but they're also looking at security. But this is something that only comes up when security breaches are there, and that's why banks need to address both sides. And RTS also gives an answer to that. It is inherence, biometrics, and this is something that we are also promoting and also wanted to discuss with our clients, that why not looking at biometrics? There are different solutions on the market, yeah.
And of course, excellent customer experience is very important, but so is security. Would you say that a state-of-the-art customer experience is threatening the quality of security?
This is, of course, a question that also regulators and national competent authorities need to answer also in this whole process of interpretation of RTS, PSD2. But we have also our point of view, and we have discussed with different stakeholders in the market. And what we think is the way how payments is done today with your smartphone, for example, using the manufacturer-based payment services like Apple Pay and Samsung Pay and others. They are mostly based on sensors and algorithms, proprietary systems that are in the device, and the bank is out of the control of this whole authentication process. So I think we see, and this is something that the market has shown, that customer experience is key. I think that is clear. But the security topic is something that needs to be looked at by the banks to also provide, when providing biometrics, also to have a solution that is RTS and PSD2 compliant at the end of the day. And that includes how is the enrollment being done, because the current solution with the smartphones, the bank doesn't know who is the customer. Everyone can register and enroll the fingerprint. And on the other hand, who is really validating the biometric data? Is it the device of the manufacturer, or is it the bank? And we think it needs to be the bank, because the RTS PSD2 also states that the bank needs to validate and is liable. It's also a liability issue here on that point.
So Hakan, how do you access the existing biometric solutions used by banks in mobile banking, and how would you recommend they react?
So what we recommend in general is, of course, to have a look at how do you want to expose your biometric solution. And this is something that also goes beyond, PSD2 and the APIs. So one thing is that the solution should be omni-channel capable. So if you have a biometric solution, it needs to be built in a way that it can be used on the mobile device, it can be used at the branch and in any other channel. So that's very key. And of course, mobile banking app is the most obvious one, because banks have their mobile banking app, their own applications, where they can simply implement it. But what is also interesting is to look at if you are providing APIs, and there, as a bank, you need to also offer your authentication methods through TPPs as well. How do you do that with biometrics? Yeah? And there we are looking at different vendors, and we have different ideas and solutions with our partners to have a solution where a third-party provider can easily integrate the mechanism on the device, using, for example, the sensors of the device, of a smartphone, for example, like the front camera or the fingerprint sensor, collect the data, process it on the device, and build a combination of being pre-processed on the device and doing the validation at the bank side. And this is something that is really key. And of course, the compliance topic is an important one, because currently when we talk to our clients and are somehow interested in offering biometrics-led payment solutions, they're also asking, okay, before I invest money in these type of solutions, now I'm looking at the calendar, we have the RTS being effective in next year, September. Shall I wait after this, or shall I now even start? Because there are some open questions still, how to do that exactly. And this is what we are basically doing. We are deep diving and analyzing these type of challenges, because these answers, these questions need to be answered, and we have good answers to that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Hakan. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.